I'm going to stop you there because I would rather let them make the speeches. But your
Okay,
question is good,
that's what I'm talking
it feels like a big softball to this side. But I think it's worth getting some more detail about the way in which that you actually, you propose something that's not happening, a TV camera in the bedroom. But let's say the data mining is happening. And what are actually the risks to privacy, aside from the kind of creepy feeling that you've described having that it can be done? What are the actual risks in the implementation? And I'll let David Cole take that.
Well, the risks are that with all of the same logic that gave them access to the phone records would give them access to your email records, to your internet records, to your credit card records, to your bank records, to your email, your phone location data. And the danger is you put all that information together and they can determine everything about us. They can know more about us than our closest friends know, than our spouses know, and the only thing that, if you give them all that data, then the only thing that's stopping them from doing that are these so-called back-end safeguards, which were routinely violated by the NSA, and which we didn't have any opportunity to debate as to whether they were adequate or not because they were put in place entirely in secret.
Richard Falkenrath.
They that you just described, they can put all this together. They can understand
the government.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more like Google than the government. Because, and you have to take this actually is a serious point. This is not the case that the government is tracking everything you do and can put it all together, and the government doesn't care what you're doing. They're actually, though, in the last 10 years, with the explosion of social media and the explosion of terms of service agreement and informed consent that no one reads, is this, what you just described, emerging in the private sector, with a legal basis being a document which no one can really read and give informed consent to. Unlike the program we're talking about, which is subject to extreme safeguards, rooted in the Constitution, backed up by both chambers of Congress and by the judiciary. And so I think you've really got to shift your terms of your argument here. This isn't the 70s with the FBI running around at the behest of Richard Nixon probing into people's lives. This is a world where the government is tightly regulated and overseen in a way subject to law, and it's the private sector, if anything, which is emerging as the they in your scary scenario.
Well, the fact that the private sector may threaten our privacy is not a justification to allow the government to invade our privacy for two reasons. One, we can establish limits on the private sector, but two, for the reasons I suggested earlier, there are lots more reasons to be concerned about the government having access to this information than the private sector having it. And that's reflected in our Constitution, which constitutionally limits government access to data, does not constitutionally limit private access to data. There's a reason for that, and it's a good reason.
Today, I want to point out tonight's debate is being broadcast worldwide on our website, iq2us.org, and on FORA.